Hi everyone, it's Sue with Ully Cat's Designs and Ully Cat's World blog, and I'm here today with a Craft Roulette, episode 293, and the parameters were a book binding card for the project, sandwich shop colors, the element is music, and random is wrapping. So we're going to be using Karen Berniston dies today. The main die will be the evergreen pivot panels, and then just to help cover our base, we're going to use the rectangles crosshatch. And I'm starting with an A2 purchase card base in brown craft paper, and I'll open it up, and here's the original centerfold, and I'm just going to score 1/4 of an inch from that, so that will be my little bookbinding piece. I've cut about 20 inches of 1/8 of an inch wide grosgrain ribbon, and we're just going to go ahead and tie that around our bookbinding part. And we'll worry about tying our ribbon into a bow later on. We'll go ahead and work on getting all of our card base gluing done. So I'm going to start So our card base has our wrapped ribbon around the bookbinding. I've got my decorative panels in, and now we'll work on decorating the pop-up part. I think it's going to be easier to decorate while it's flat like this. And again, it's one of these where you train all the folds, and we'll glue in our tabs in a little bit. I've worked on wrapping some trees. Cut a bunch, not knowing exactly what I would need. I could do something like that. Now, the twine wrapped trees have a little bit of dimension to them. They're going to take a little bit more time to probably dry. I'm going to start by putting weights on top of those. So I know they're going to be the ones that take the longest to dry. I think I'll get the center trees in. So my color scheme for sandwich shop colors is, I think I'm going to go with actual sandwich ingredients. So you've got lettuce and pickles and guacamole, and we're going to eventually be adding some red for tomatoes and or ketchup. As you can guess, we've got our wrapped element covered, our colors element covered, we've got our bookbinding card base, and then the last thing that we'll need to cover is music. And the way we're going to cover that is our front sentiment. Have a tree trimming, carols singing, there's music, laughter ringing, Christmas. And on the inside, we're going to add the fa la 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 banner. So that's our music. I have the front of the card done before we install the other part, but I do want to show you how I did my sentiments. They all come from the Karen Berniston Season of Cheer stamps. So here's the have a tree trimming, carol singing, laughter ringing, Christmas. And there's our fa la la, be on the inside. And I just have to say, I love using this little We Are Mini Precision stamping platform that I got from Inky Stamper. It is just so easy and just perfect for these kind of projects. I cut the front piece using the crosshatch fancy label inside, and this set is the rectangles and labels crosshatch. And then I used the little banner from the Lorna label pop-up set to cut the fa la la, and I stamped in Memento Tuxedo Black. Now I finished decorating my inside panel. You can see the tinsel wrap trees and the twine wrap trees. And the interior ones I tried to leave as flat as possible because these trees are going to add a lot of bulk to the card. So the way we install this is we'll line up the center fold with the center fold of the card. Now this is still going to work even though it's a bookbinding card because we still have a center fold. So I want to make sure all of my tabs glue down one side, and then we'll let that dry before we work on the other side. Because this plaid green paper is a coated paper, and so it has a tendency to let things slide around until the glue dries. Here's our card now that everything has dried, and I've added some labels for personal message, and these come from the rectangle and labels crosshatch set. But I realized when I close this sticks out, and that's because of our bookbinding that we've taken up just that much space in making our bookbinding. So rather than throw the card away, I've added some strips. I started out with 1 inch wide, and then I've trimmed it down to about 3/4 inch wide strips to make this into a square card so that the finished dimensions are 5.5 by 5.5. And that solves our issue of things sticking out. And it's glued to the inside because that's where it will be less noticeable border-wise on the card. So this is our finished card for Craft Roulette number 293, whose parameters were a bookbinding card, which this one is. It's a very narrow bookbinding. We have sandwich shop colors of mustard and ketchup and tomatoes and lettuce and guacamole and pickles and the silvery bits of ice in your drink. The music element, we've got the fa la 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 la, as well as carol singing there. And the wrap is twine, tinsel, and of course actual ribbon wrapping trees and our bookbinding. We've got plenty of space for a personal message. We've carried out our theme of the trees with the ribbons, both on our envelope and on our back of our card. I hope this has given you some inspiration, and we'll see you next Friday when Craft Roulette is live again. Bye-bye.